And we're going to show our support right now to our sister Angel.
Yes.
What is it on your mind?
So it's me, Angel B. Y'all know I got a lot to say.
All right.
Listen, we all know the
Yeah.
stereotype that men are less emotional when it comes to relationships, right? Expression wise, I'll say that. But there's this new study that shows, psychologists said that men have become a lot more emotional when it comes to breakups in relationships. So when things start to take a turn in their relationship, they become more emotionally distressed. And I'm just like, wow. I'm not surprised though. Here's my thing, because like I was almost a second from like, are you sure? But a lot of me believe that to be true. And here's why.
Okay.
I believe women, where we wear our emotions on our shoulders, we speak about it, we cry to one another, there's an outpour of, oh, this is what I'm going through. And we show that. Yeah. Whereas men, I think they're a lot less spoken. You guys hold it in. You suppress your emotions. You don't talk about it. It's like, okay, I'm going to go drink my problems away. I'll go smoke my problems away, or I'll go just lay down and be depressed where nobody's going to come find me in my room. You guys don't express that. So when it's been through this whole pandemic where people have been pushing therapy, and a lot more men are going to therapy, where they begin to express that when they have a breakup, it weighs on them more than it does the woman. Do you guys believe that to be true? Has it been proven in your own lives and things of that sort? And does this new study surprise you?
Not at all. You have two resident experts here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay,
I can't wait to hear.
I'll say this, as you were talking, Angel, I go back to the Genesis story where he said male and female made he them, which means that whatever was needed, right, while we're different, our functions are different, we're wired with the same emotions.
Absolutely.
And what our indoctrination or acculturation has, men thinking that I better not show how I feel or else I'll seem weak. But the reality is, having gone through a divorce yet and a separation before, it hurts. We hurt the same way. We cried. We have deep-seated feelings, including anger. That's what I felt, all of those things. Frustration. Definitely was impacted. So I think as men, we withdraw.
Right.
We don't show that to people. A lot of times we won't go get counseling. We won't tell anybody else, look, I'm straight up hurting over this thing. But I experienced all of those things. And so we as women, one thing I would give you credit for, which helps to keep your stress down, because that's why a lot of times men clock out strokes and heart attacks, is because when you keep things suppressed, you don't cry, you don't talk about it, it's all on the inside. It can show up in other ways.
Absolutely.
But I would just encourage I'm just going to say this, any man, talk to somebody. If you got to cry. If you got to be by yourself to process, or whatever you got to do, get through the process and then let it go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I totally agree with David. I figured this study beforehand. You have to know it's true. Unfortunately, we have some really grim statistics that show, majority of men that are in prison are because of some sort of domestic situation, and because they've mishandled an emotion, or they don't express themselves, they bottle things up, and then when they get to their tipping or their breaking point, they do something that is completely unthought of, or just crazy. Going through breakups, they are tough. Yeah, the world will tell you to man up, but sometimes you broke up, and we are now starting to put systems in place that women have been putting in place for years.
Right.
Now we are getting in men's circles where we're talking about issues that are real, that are affecting one another, and we're talking about accountability, and we're talking about how we can better express ourselves now after we've done all the stupid stuff. And we see that now we need these outlets, because if you don't have these outlets, you have these blow ups.
For sure.
And it's needed. It's definitely
I'm curious to know, because women, like you said, have been doing this for, we've been doing this for ages, and then there's some who don't. I'm curious to know, what can we as women do to support men becoming more open with their emotions. Because yes, while you wear it, we tell men, oh, man up, or we tell our sons, stop crying, right?
Yeah.
We be a man about it, do this and a third. But in actuality, what we're doing is suppressing this kid inside who was no longer able to express their emotions. What can we, like, as your sisters, because what I don't want is and I'm gonna tell you this, I don't want a man to come to me just laying all of his emotions out. This is what we do when we get into these relationships, when it's like we got the broken man, he comes and he pours himself out on this one person, and it becomes draining. And women do the same thing. But to get men to a place of where you guys are, what can you say to them to encourage them to get to that place of peace and understanding and comfort to just be able to share, what's going on?
Well, if I could, I would say make sure that you give space for him, that you give space for him to work it out. If you know that he has people that he's accountable to, encourage him to have conversations with them. Sure. What I've learned from I had a gentleman by the name, matter of fact, Heath Wiggins was a guy that I was using as accountability for a moment in my life. And the thing is, I learned how to talk better or how to communicate better with the woman in my life by running certain things by him, giving it to him raw, and then running it through, okay, this is a guy. No, but you understand, giving it to him, straight up.
Expressing what you were saying verbally with your words.
Expressing myself fully to him without without all of the filters that you need to use when you talk to the woman in your life. There are a lot of things that you need to be privy to, but you don't need for me to give it to you in not wrapped up in its best presentation. So he was somebody to talk to learn, okay, cool. Here's your point. This is what you're feeling. This is what you need to express.
What I'm hearing is male accountability.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. And encourage that male accountability. And if they don't have it, sometimes you can introduce people to other people,
if they're open to it.
If they're open to it. And but that guy has to be in a particular place. Yes. First and foremost. I know Dave's got something he's been writing away.
Well, let me, before you go, Dave, I'm sorry. Let me just say, that one of the things that I've observed in male communication is an inability to understand their feelings, an inability to understand their feelings. And so, because like you said, Angel, they have been suppressed for so long, or we have not been, as men have, and David, you briefly touched on it, have not been acculturated to be able to express what we feel.
Right.
Right. When dudes talk to each other, it's like, "What's up, dude? What's up? What's up? You good? Straight?
Yeah.
All right. Holla."
How many definitions do you good mean? How many different definitions for that? Exactly. It covers all of these things because we're limited in how we express ourselves.
And so what I found out was that because men don't have a vocabulary to explain what they're feeling internally, then they don't know how to express it to a woman.
That's it.
Especially if it's a new feeling, if it's a new emotion that they have never articulated, and they don't have subject, noun, predicate, preposition to describe what they're feeling. So if they don't know what they're feeling, they just be like, "I'm good, I'm straight, I'm good up," and they'll put a statement that they do know to just gloss over it. Yeah. And so I think what women can
Are you all right? Are you all right?
I think what women can do, and I think what parents, really is parents.
Yes.
What parents need to do is to begin to talk to their sons and their daughters, but mainly their sons, about how they feel. It seems very common, but you need to begin to teach your sons primarily how to describe how they're feeling, so that if they're hurt, if they're sad, then they will have the vocabulary to express it.
Absolutely.
And if they have the vocabulary to express it when they get into a relationship, they'll have the vocabulary to express it to their woman. It won't be something new, and it won't seem weak to them because it's just a part of their vocabulary.
Yeah, we always talked like this. Yeah, my dad used to talk to me like that. Or I see my mom and my dad have these types of conversations, because a lot of how you feel is important. And I think that's one of the things as men we sweep under the rug. You know, it ain't what's just go out there and do. You got to perform. You got to be here. You got to show up. And how you're feeling during all of this is very important.
Absolutely.
So that we can explain to our women, this is how we're feeling.
Yeah. What about you, David?
You know, I'll just add this. I think is when it comes to women, I tell you how y'all can best help us. Understanding that trust makes love possible, right? So that if I trust you, I'm going to open up more. I'm going to show more of myself. And the deeper that trust goes, I'm not going to be inhibited in what I show. I'm going to feel more free because to use a term, my ride or die, I know you're that one that I can be that way with. But it also speaks back to the type of man that you're going to engage with, because really when we start from looking at men from childhood forward, I believe that education is so important. We have to stop showing our children these limited things like this entertainment value, where we pick up a vernacular that comes from rap music, all this little stuff, slang that we say, yeah, I'm good, I'm all right, you know, all that, to making sure that they study. Because you can't articulate what you've not read in vocabulary that you've not digested to make part of your mind. So that when you begin to express your thoughts, you have a range of words that's not the MFs and all these other expletives that people use. So now I have a range of ways to express how I feel. I'll give you a case in point. You know, when I grew up in Southeast DC, right? So now people see me, they would never know I grew up in Southeast DC, but one of the ways I expressed myself through my frustrations and things that I saw growing up, I wrote poetry, right? And what's it like to go out and tell the boys in the neighborhood you write poetry? I never told them that, but that was a way, using my words, I understood that. So we have to absolutely make sure that we're putting our children, men in particular, in environments where they are learning, where they're not ignorant, where they have words, because I can only pull out from the volume that's within.
For sure. And I love that you guys mentioned both male accountability and trust, because at the end of the day, we're looking at the now. It's like, how can I, as a grown man, now welcome this into my life and take on these relationships and encounters with women and share my emotions with them? It's by encouraging. And ladies, I'm gonna speak directly to you. When you enter into these relationships with men who seem to be, less intimate or less emotional, encourage them to show them the company that they have. If you're in a relationship with a guy who claims to be by himself, to himself, and things of that sort, I always personally challenge that, because there's no one person walking this life alone. Whether it's your co-workers, we all have relationships with somebody. So I want to see how you interact with your co-workers. I want to see how you interacting with the people in the store, because even that alone is going to allow me to see into who you are as a person, and begin to learn how to express certain things to you. And so creating that trust between us now determines how we can communicate with each other, and then also just welcoming in that space. I'm going to encourage you. I'm not going to be your therapist. I'm going to encourage you to have some male friends that you can go talk to.
I was going to ask you, Angel, how do you, if you're dealing with somebody, if you meet somebody that doesn't have that circle, they just didn't have it, they're a nice person, they love the Lord, and they seem to be trying as best they can to communicate, as a single woman, how would you deal with somebody that doesn't have that circle that he can go to communicate with, or that accountability that he needs? How would you deal with that?
I'm going to introduce you to my male friends and the people that I hang around personally. Because
they're not gonna receive that, because they don't know Thomas.
It's not. I'm not forcing it on you, but what I'm going to do is introduce you to them. And so what that does is it creates a space. What I personally won't do is just allow you to be a loner, right? Not saying that, oh, we can't be friends, but just know that if you don't create this space of community of men, I can't be in that space with you. And that's just me personally. That's just me personally. Everybody's not going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to be with you, or things like that. I have to see that male interaction.
I support the way the Angel starts that off, because it's not an exclusivity right off the bat. And I think that's one of the major issues that we've had in developing relationships. Just because I done talked to you 2 weeks on the phone and we done went out 2 or 3 times don't mean I'm your boyfriend.
Exactly.
And I shouldn't be yet. I still have to earn this space and time that you've given me. So if you introduce me and we all friends, and you introduce me to some other people, and I find out, oh, yo, they're cool. And I know y'all cool, because I look at the circles that we roll in now that overlap. Most of us are friends with the same people.
I hear what y'all saying, but I mean, I'm thinking like if I'm a dude and I'm a loner kind of, and I don't really rock with a lot of people, but I think Angel's attractive. I want to holler at her. I'm meeting you, and we go out on a couple dates, and I'm feeling you a little bit, you feeling me a little bit, and now you want to start introducing me to your friends and put me in circles that I don't feel comfortable being in.
I met a guy like this
as a condition of me getting to know you. Is that fair?
If it's not fair to you, personally, I'm going to speak for myself, it's not going to work for me. And here's why I say this. I met a loner. I met a guy who was just like, I don't feel comfortable being around large crowds. Cool. I got a solution for that. I met a guy who's just like, oh, I just want to be in the house. Cool. I got a solution for that too. Let's welcome people into our space. If you don't want to meet my friends, I'm not pushing my friends on you, but what we're going to do is we're going to go out. If you like golf, let's go to the golf club. I'm sure it's somebody there that you can connect with that does not have to be my friend or your friend, but we're going to meet new people. I personally wouldn't enter into a relationship with a guy who just wants to be alone because that's not my personality type, and I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all.
That can lead to a very toxic relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't trust it at all.
Now you sitting in the bushes outside my job.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because you could very well want to be a loner, but I know there's so much power in community.
Yes.
You need that. You can't sit here and say forever, oh, I just want to be by myself or I want to keep to myself. It's nothing healthy in that.
What don't you trust in that?
So this is what I don't trust.
You can't even do God's work like that.
That's very true. This is what I don't trust in that. And from what I've experienced dating someone who just wanted to be by themselves, just me and you. What that created was a space of, Angel, this is just us. There's no, I don't have room for who you like to hang out with or who you want to be around or anything like that. And now I don't even have anybody to go to figure out who you are. I'm trying to get to know you, but I can't just know you based on what you're telling me of you. I have to know who I can connect with. And the moment I spoke about people that I learned, I'm a research. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you, baby. I'm a research who you are. I found people who I knew, and the moment I mentioned it, homeboy got uptight. Like, well, don't talk to them about me. No, what you got to say? Like, I'm not going to them asking them about who you are or who they knew you to be back then. I want to create some sense of security knowing that you ain't out here. You're not a serial killer. I want to make sure you find.
Why everybody know you dead?
Right. You know.
I mean, something's wrong with. I totally and to speak to just your safety.
Absolutely.
I mean, because there's all kinds of stuff going on.
It isn't. I don't care how much
totally
you tell
agree
me,
with what
you
do.
in a good place, you in a safe place. You don't know what that means mentally. You don't know what that means emotionally. I don't know what are you like when you are depressed? Like all of that plays into my security when I'm around you.
Yes.
And if I can't go to anybody and say, what is he like? Because he don't want to talk about it. What is he like when he like this? To understand that, I'm never going to know.
Exactly. And I think it ultimately begs the question of suitability, right? And if that's a person suitable for you, and we need to stop this Messiah complex of trying to save people. Or if they don't have the skill set or the suitability to be with us, perhaps they need to just get some counseling or some help. But we shouldn't take that on.
And if they don't want to, it's okay. They're not for you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, well, this is not going to work out. But if you want to be my friend, you want to be my homeboy, you want to kick it every now and then, fine. Okay?
Yeah.
But we're not going to.
We don't have to be together.
I said all that to say. I said all that to say it's okay. Like men, I think that it's important for you guys to, find that male accountability, talk to some people, let out your emotions. Therapy is okay. If you don't like therapy, talk to people. Talking through stuff helps you get through stuff.
Yes. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Elevation Global Media Group. We can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to us because we will talk back to you.
Yes.
All right? And with that said, we said everything that's on our mind today, and we are out.
Peace.